Hello, today we will be introducing vocabulary that has to deal with circles. You should have these notes open up on Notability and should be filling in and following along as we go over the vocabulary that is specific to circles. So let's take a look at radius. So for radius, it says the distance, and it's halfway across a circle, and we're talking about from the center to circumference. So in other words, we're talking about half the diameter. To calculate the radius when it's not given to you is you take the value of the diameter and you are going to divide it by 2. So just remember, fraction bar means division. Okay, let's take a look at diameter. So diameter, this is the full distance across the circle. And we're going from one side to the opposite side. And you really need to make sure you're passing through the center. To calculate the diameter, when you're not given it, but you are given the radius instead, all you do is take the radius and you multiply it by 2. So the big connection there is that radius is half the diameter, and diameter is double the radius. Both of them go from the edge of the circle, which is the circumference, and they either stop at the center or they pass through the center to the other side. Another vocab word that is important with circles is the term pi. So pi, the way pi has been calculated is it's the circumference divided by the diameter on any circle. Now this number is always the same, and it is irrational. So let's add the word irrational underneath it. And it's irrational because it never terminates or repeats. Okay, so it's a number that goes on and on and on and on and on. There's no pattern to it, and it just never ends. Pi, we say, is approximately 3.14. So in March, we always celebrate Pi Day on March 14th. And the reason for that is because it's about 3.14. Next is the circumference. So this is the distance around a circle. So this is very similar to if you were calculating perimeter, like for a rectangle or a triangle or a trapezoid. Circumference is just the name we use for circle. It has a special name. And with it, it has a special formula to calculate. So the way we calculate circumference, you can use one of two formulas. So the first formula is you do 2 times pi times radius. So if you're given the radius, you multiply that by 2 and you multiply that by pi. Or if you're given the diameter, you just do diameter times pi. The last one is the area, and this is the number of square units that fit inside of a circle. So this is similar to like if you were calculating the area for a rectangle or a triangle. You're counting the number of square units that are inside of it. The area also has a special formula, and that is A equals pi times radius squared. And just remember, radius squared does not mean 2 times the radius. It means radius times radius. So whatever your radius is, you multiply it by itself and then multiply it by pi. Please note that you can't use diameter with area. You do have to figure out what the radius is when you're given the diameter. So let's go ahead and draw and label the parts of the circle. So starting with circumference. So we said circumference is the distance around a circle. So I'm going to label circumference like this. Okay. Next, we said diameter. Now diameter goes through the middle of the circle. So as close as possible. It's probably, let me redo it. So the center is probably like here, middle. So we'll call that the diameter. The radius is from the middle to the edge. So this would be the radius. And then the area is just everything inside. So I'm just going to label that area. So for homework tonight, you do have a vocabulary crossword puzzle that you need to complete. Use this note sheet to help you because the vocabulary terms and definitions that are on this worksheet are also on the vocab crossword puzzle. You have a week to complete this. It is due prior to the start of first period on next Tuesday, so February 8th.